Hi, everyone. I wanted to talk about Donald Trump and how a lot of things have been going against him as president, even prior to being president. And now with our election fraud, we got officials, legislatures, even possibly in on the fraud, governors, secretary of state. And we have the same people causing problems in his election: Hillary and Obama, Soros. And so some people are saying that instead of Trump trying to get win lawsuits from these people who already have their mind made up that they want Biden to in fact be president, even if it means even if it means even if it means frauding our president out of his own election. Some are saying, and I kind of agree, because let's just say in the U.S. Supreme Court, uh, we have people that could care less about President Trump winning. If that Supreme Court ruling or the judge himself, let's just say, for example, Supreme Court Justice John Roberts, um, we can't have someone like him deciding on which states can violate federal law by allowing votes to be counted that are received after election day. We have people in power that the people cannot depend on for a fair election with integrity that stands behind the people. If our system is that corrupt and our president believes our system is that corrupt, our president should just consider calling a national emergency, new elections in disputed states. And because of the intense controversy surrounding this election, President Trump ought to immediately take the extraordinary step of declaring a national emergency and not rely on lawsuits to challenge the voter counts in the contested states. It has become a matter of national importance and no longer simply about his reelection. This is like our nation is hanging by a thread right now. And not only the nation, but the world itself, because the world looks up to, the rest of the world looks up to us. We are an example to the rest of the world. So if something as so great as the United States gets taken out by this evil and corruption, then the world itself is falling to an unfathomable reality of a demise and suffering and just digression, that this is serious. So there are two overreaching reasons why the country requires an atypical response that would be requiring new elections take place in the contested states of Georgia, North Carolina, Arizona, Nevada, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. Number one, the very serious allegations that Vice President Joe Biden and family monetized political connections and influence to commit alleged treachery against the United States. And even though this has not been fully investigated by the Justice Department, according to the president himself, the Biden family is an organized crime family. And as we know, as it is, we already know we can't even count on William Barr for shit. So there's reports that Joe Biden allegedly enabled his family members to get rich and received payoffs in kind from them. And this is true. And at the heart of these accusations is Hunter Biden joining his father aboard Air Force Two in December of 2013 on a flight to China. 10 days later, Hunter Biden received more than $1 billion in financing from the state-run Bank of China for a private equity firm he co-founded without any notable skills in that area. So to allow Joe Biden to assume the office of presidency without a full investigation of his alleged crimes is an affront to the dignity of the United States of America and therefore cannot be allowed to happen. Number two, since the late submissions of mail-in ballots for Joe Biden are rife with questionable compliance issues and those of Donald Trump do not, it's far better that the question of the designation of the American president not be clouded by endless recounts that are almost certainly not going to lead to every ballot being investigated for authenticity. In such a divided country, there cannot be no allowance for the subject of any hanging Chad-like disputes. When a subtle solution of new elections supervised by the Army and Justice Departments in the contested states is an obvious remedy. And the opposite must also exist, that if President Trump were successful in his lawsuit challenges, then his election would also be called into legitimacy. It is therefore best and most logical that whoever wins the presidency not be subjected to any manner of doubt, and that the clarity of the president's assertion on these matters concerning holding new free and fair elections carry the day now and until such new elections produce a clear winner for each state. So we know the Democrats test drove ballot harvesting in November of 2018, and President Trump has been undermined by the deep state since assuming office in January of 2017. The alleged voter fraud is almost assuredly a continuation of all the witch hunts, from the Russian hoax impeachment, the Democrats shuttering the booming economy as part of the COVID healthcare power grab. The 2020 election is part of the silent coup against him. I'm so sick of these coups, guys. I really feel like our president has given these devils the benefit of the doubt for way too long. Our president should really consider calling a national emergency. So, the massive voter fraud from 2018 allowed Democrats to regain control of the U.S. House of Representatives, and the America of individual liberty and freedom was assaulted. During the Trump presidency, the federal judiciary has consistently ignored the clear constitutional authority of the executive branch to conduct the foreign policy of the United States by interfering with matters of naturalization, immigration, and border security. The actual war against the United States has been raging since sanctuary cities and states began violating federal laws by failing to cooperate with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, the ICE. So think about it, guys. With all this that's been going on against our president, against our Constitution, against our citizens, and we got these sanctuary cities from hell, can we really rely and have a U.S. Supreme Court Justice John Roberts deciding which states can violate federal laws, allowing votes to be counted that are received after Election Day? Due to these accentuating emergencies. President Trump ought to sign an executive order that any state under recount must hold a new in-person election. As we have seen with the lockdowns with COVID-19, health decrees, the individual liberties of citizens everywhere to conduct business and to assemble and travel freely has been denied, and now free and fair elections are at risk too. We cannot have a U.S. Supreme Justice, John Roberts, deciding which states can violate federal law by allowing votes to be counted that are received after Election Day. America needs voter ID laws with limited mail-in ballots. If people cannot, they cannot show up to the polls on Election Day. President Trump must move fast before the Electoral College meets in December. The almost 4-year rebellion has raged too long already. There is no other alternative for President Trump but to fulfill his oath and defend the Constitution. I'm going to say it again. There is no other alternative for President Trump but to fulfill his oath and defend the Constitution and hold new elections in these states with disputed results. The integrity of free and fair elections has been compromised in the eyes of the American people. So guys, there's so much at risk, and there's so much that's gone down with these left radical Democrats for years. Although I know our president will be president, this is what I feel kind of needs to do to kind of ensure it, because so much has already piled up against him. These left radical Democrats, communism, CCP, deep state. President Trump just needs to crack down, and I feel this may only be the way at this point. And I just want to leave with that on that note, guys. If President Trump felt he had to declare national emergency, this is the time to do it. It's a sure way to get our country back on track and crack down on everything that's been going on. Because a lot's going to be seized, things are going to be frozen that have a lot to do with these devils that have been harassing and terrorizing our president and our Constitution and our people. So our president has my vote to declare national emergency. We just gotta nip this stuff in the butt ASAP. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know my last kind of videos were off because I had my camera angled a certain way and it kind of threw me off. So, anyways, I hope you guys are all doing well, and I'll see you on the next video. And God bless everybody.